brand new MacBook M1. Okay, so you can shave your beard with this beautiful machine, but I haven't set it up yet to do the Google live streams. Well, it is Google, isn't it? It's not exactly YouTube, but next time. And plus, this is the part where I say I've been really busy. I haven't even turned on my Infinity Stones. That's how busy I am. And I haven't moved that painting. That's how busy I am. I'm about to upload episode 3 of my fantasy podcast series. It's based on Star Trek. Sorry to say if you're not into that, but I do another 3 different podcasts anyway. I was supposed to do an episode of Loose Rants to talk about the Loki TV series, but Adam somehow has got bees in his house, and I guess they need fumigating or something. I don't know. So he's out of commission. The Zero Waste podcast is 1 episode a month because I'm so busy. And the Hello from Hong Kong podcast, I've actually got a guy I'm in contact with who has a float tank center here in this part of the world that had 1 case of COVID yesterday. And I want to speak to him about float tanks. He knows Joe Rogan, not personally, but he knows of Joe Rogan, inspired by Joe Rogan. And I think he's got a quote of Joe Rogan on his wall in the center. And so I've had a couple of sessions there with the float tank experience, which is pretty sweet. But the first time, right, it was great, and they gave me the big pod by myself, and I thought, oh, this is huge. This is well, it's huge because it's the big one. But I was floating in it, chilling out, had a little sleep. I thought, oh, this is amazing. And then I said, oh, I wonder what the double pod looks like. And she said that was a double pod. I was like, oh shit. And I thought I could go for a swim in the bigger one. Anyway, it turns out that I was in the double pod all by myself. Then I went again, and some cunt was drilling or doing something, and I could hear it through the wall of the self-contained room for the pod, and then I could hear it through the pod. And then when I came out, oh, how was your experience? It was okay until someone was drilling or banging or something. Oh, I'm very sorry about that. You won't believe how much it ruins the experience of floating in a flotation thingy. If just one person, I mean, it's like they were just clapping bricks together. And this thing's underground. I can't even hear the traffic outside. So who is it? Then I went back for my third one, which is like on offer. And it was a different time of the day. This was in the evening now. And someone else was still clapping fucking bricks. You've ruined it. I've literally wasted. How much is 45? Well, let me just do the old. Let me do the good old fashioned currency translator. So each session, and this is on a discount by the way, each session was equivalent of $57 for an hour. Okay, the normal price is $115 US. Imagine you pay $115 US. You get sales tax, of course. We don't, so you're paying more. So plus 7% if you're in the state of New York, isn't it? I don't know. Imagine you're paying $120 plus. You sit down for an hour in this float tank, and then you hear just boom, boom, boom. It's like you want to chill out, you want to sleep, you want to go trip your balls off the best way possible inside this float tank, and it ain't happening, and you've wasted it. And they didn't even say, well, we'll give you an extra hour. Well, they can't really give me an extra hour, but it seems ironic that they don't understand how annoying someone slapping bricks together is. Hello Tanny, by the way, sorry. I'm trying not to just acknowledge everyone immediately, because then I'm just going to break the flow of the bit that I'm doing. I'm trying to complain but do it in a funny way. So I didn't expect to talk about floating. Actually, I've got 6 topics here, and none of them was floating, but I floated for a bit. It was alright the first time, bottom line. Third and second, not so much. Hey, what are we going to talk about? Go ahead. Good to see you. Thought I was watching Periscope for a minute. No. Although speaking of Periscope, so I'll jump to topic 5 on the list. Penguin 6 is in Hong Kong, and You know what's interesting about Penguin 6 is that he's like Kevin. I mean this in a good way. We could be chatting, or you could be listening to me talking about something, and Kevin will drop this nugget of information in the chat, and you'd be like, holy fuck. Well, I do anyway. I think, how does he know that? For example, he told me that the trams were free last month on July the 1st, I think, or July the 4th. Anyway, when the CCP were created, it's expressed by giving everybody a free tram ride. And I texted to say, well, I'm not using the tram today, but thank you for telling me. And then I actually needed to use the tram, or needed to get around, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to use the tram. Thanks, Kevin. So Penguin 6 is here, and he's telling me so many things about Hong Kong. And I'm thinking, Andrew, I live in Hong Kong. I should know, but I don't. And it's just wild. He noticed that it is extra hot in Hong Kong at the moment. Well, yeah, because we've got global warming, and it is extremely hot all the time now. It's just basically 32, 34 degrees Celsius. Not Fahrenheit and not Kelvin, that one. I'm like, okay, yeah, you are right, but it's nice to get confirmation from somebody who's lived in Washington for a while. Where, didn't you run out of electricity? No, that was Chicago. Okay, my bad. And just talking about the differences between how he's lived in the US and then how he's living here on holiday in Hong Kong, and the things he's missed. And he just creates these interesting contrasts where it just makes me think, why go through the effort of leaving Hong Kong if that's the case? And I think he's realized that maybe he should stay here because for him and his family, it's probably better. But there we are. He just gave me loads of information. It was nice to just speak to Penguin again after all this time and just have him explain the things that he likes to explain. This is an accidental green screen I just discovered. I put this over here. You won't know I'm in Hong Kong. I might actually do that one day in a Zoom call. Okay, that was Penguin 6. I can't really say much about him because I guess it's private. But I'll tell you something. On the day we met, we talked about what's his name, Hong Kong Hermit, and he was saying that John Ho asked him, "Hey, what do you know about the Hong Kong Hermit thing?" And Andrew, Penguin 6, is like, "I literally know nothing about it." John doesn't ask me, doesn't talk to me about it. Goes to Andrew, who's on the other side of the fucking planet, to figure out what's going on. But when I came home, somebody DM'd me pictures. It's like pictures of Hong Kong Hermit in Edinburgh. So it's confirmed he's not in Hong Kong and hasn't been in Hong Kong. And there he is at the pro Hong Kong rally in Edinburgh of all places, and is at the back. And it's one of those CSI Miami scenes, or New York, whatever, whichever CSI you're party to. I don't really watch them, except for the original episodes of is it David Caruso, the ginger one, way back in the beginning in the 90s. It's the only ones I watched, where he says his one-liner. Anyway, you see this crowd of people, and then the next photo is sort of zoomed in, and you see this man in an orange shirt, and then you look at the next photo, and it's zoomed in again, and it's him. It's him in an orange shirt. He's not wearing a flashy Hawaiian shirt. He's very low-key, like this orange here, like this colour. It's like, oh, there he is. There he is, not in Hong Kong, and he hasn't updated his status. For those that don't know, Hong Kong Hermit did some things allegedly with children, and he had to leave Hong Kong, and I think he's on a watch list as well because of his antics during some certain issues. So he probably thought it was best to just cut loose and run. Anyway, that's the update on him. Okay. One thing, actually, to tie it back to Penguin 6, one thing that we did talk about was the COVID situation. And he was explaining that in America, if you are American, please share your views, because I find it fascinating. But he said that people just aren't bothering to wear masks anymore. And I thought, well, I'm not surprised, because the government said you don't need to wear masks anymore if you've been vaccinated. Well, it's like, of course I've been vaccinated, so of course I'm not going to wear a mask. right? If I was in America, well, I don't need to wear it. Or how do you know I haven't been vaccinated? And it's this honor system thing going on. So yeah, so no one's wearing masks, and now 80 plus thousand cases a day. I need to remind you that Hong Kong, rounding up, has only had 12,000 cases and 212 deaths. And none of the Asian countries have said that if you've been vaccinated, you can take off your mask. Even in the countries with high vaccination rates. I know, no mask, people just look at me because I still wear a mask. Good for you. What I don't understand, and this is how it ties back into Penguin Six's discussion about attitudes in America, is that because social network there's a lot of Americans online, there's so many stories that I just can't respond to, and I don't want to respond to anymore because I've got other things to do. But in the beginning, I would jump in and say, well, you should look at the Asian countries, see how they're doing it, or take a cue from this country. We're wearing masks, we're socially distancing, and look at our case numbers, they're really low. And people would find an excuse and say, well, that's an Asian country, or everyone's compliant, and we want our freedoms, and yet we never went into lockdown, and either did some other countries. And now they're saying, well, if you've been vaccinated, don't wear a mask. But I've been vaccinated, I'm still wearing a mask. Not because I choose to do that, but because the government hasn't said, right, stop wearing masks. I don't even think they would ever say such a thing like that. They would probably just wait until everyone's vaccinated to a large degree, and then it's like, okay, I guess you can take your masks off now, I guess. I mean, schools are still half day here. I start a new job, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I start a new job today, and the owner said, if you don't want to wear a mask, it's fine. And it's like, but I am, because I'm going to, for various reasons. I don't know why people hate wearing masks. Well, there's this great reply that I keep seeing online where someone says, I don't want to wear them because the government isn't telling me what to do. Hello, Brian. But that same government tells you which side of the road to drive on, what clothes to wear, what seatbelt to use. It just goes on and on and on, all the things that the government actually tells you what to do. And you fall down on a mask and it's been politicized. It just doesn't happen here. And when I got talking to Penguin and he was talking about the food, again, it links in. We were talking about food and he says, oh, I can't get this here and I can't get that here. In America, that is. I'm thinking that he can't find a decent restaurant for decent Chinese food. And he probably can find one or two in Washington. But he's talking about the average, he's talking about what you can eat here on a daily basis versus what you can eat there. And I said, well, oh no, he said, Hong Kong is the most American city outside of America. And if you don't know who Penguin 6 is, if you're a replay scrub, okay, Penguin 6 was the largest periscoper here. And he's a huge YouTuber. He's got like 100,000 subs because he's periscoping, he's YouTubing the capital. He lives in Washington, so he's YouTubing around there. And he's got he's got 100,000 subs now. I remember when he had like 5K, and that was it. But some people on the right said, hey, this guy knows his shit, and then boom, 100,000 subs. He's lost 1,000 while he's been in Hong Kong, and he's not here for that long. Some people are just impatient, and they're like, unsub. But anyway, I asked him, well, why don't you just go to Whole Foods if you want the international food that Hong Kong has? Because we've got food from Denmark, Norway, Japan, the UK, America, of course, food from Brazil. Like, Hong Kong is very international, and it's something that I don't realize is a privilege for me to have. I'm going to turn this light on. Because I'm always here, but he's coming from the States and he's saying, you've got all these foods from all these different countries, so that's great. And I said, well, what about Whole Foods in America? And he's like, barely Whole Foods. Everything is US made. You don't realize how insular the food market is in America, and I don't realize this. But then it gets me thinking about social media, ideas. When Americans celebrate the 4th of July, like, it's all over my feed. But I never get the celebrations of other countries that just dominate my feed. I can go on Tumblr, 4th of July, Twitter, 4th of July. What's the other one I use? Apollo for the Reddit. community. Like, there's loads of 4th of July. Everyone's proud of 4th of July. Fine, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's there. But other Western holidays from other Western countries? No, not really. You might have someone post, like, the winter solstice, say. That's it. A couple of posts. Because I specifically go out of my way to follow people who are into that kind of thing. So, in my mind, American culture is very much present online, and yet when it comes to ideas, it's like, I'm going to say this thing that makes no sense if you know anything about the world outside the United States. That's where I'm coming from with that, because I think I look at these ideas and, like, someone says, oh, but children are being tortured, or they're being forced to wear it and it inhibits their social skills. And yet I've got students whose faces I've never seen, because we've always worn masks. Like, they're relatively new students during the pandemic, and they're fine. They wear masks all the time. So I don't understand how that idea can survive and then propagate. It just blows my mind. But it's a perspective that well, is illuminating, but also something that I don't really want to think about too much, because I've got other shit to do than worry about what other people are doing in a country far, far away. But just to know that these ideas are running rampant and alive and well, it's like, wow, no one's gonna say, but what about this country? Like, it's like an echo chamber, and it only goes one way. Like, we can all look in as as users not in America. It goes in one way. Like, we get to see your conversation, but it feels like no one's looking out, or not enough people are looking out to see how other countries are doing it still. Just like when we talked about on Periscope about there was an Atlantic article talking about how the virus spread in New York much faster than it did in Los Angeles. And the article was explaining, well, it's because New York is a vertical city. So everyone's stacked on top of one another. So therefore the virus spread so much more quickly than it did in LA. But it was a New York Times article. And I'm reading it and I'm thinking, but the virus is in Hong Kong, it's in Shanghai, it's in Japan, it's in Tokyo. These are vertical cities, and yet it isn't spreading in the same way. So how can that article only look at American cities to make that comparison, and what is an invalid opinion or hypothesis as to how one city is more successful than the other? And they're just comparing two cities, and yet the virus isn't in two cities. Because the most powerful internet companies are HQ not just but in California. They make sure their values are spread across the world. Possibly, but nothing's stopping you, say, what was your name again? Doniger. Nothing's stopping you from going on a Twitter list or just following some people in Asia, some journalists in Asia, to do that. Right? They only control so much. Everybody else has to sort of want to step out, and that's the thing. They want to step out and look at how the rest of the world is doing it. Yeah. Just as much as I can decide to not listen to this stuff, or just go balls deep into it and spend my time, harassing people saying you're wrong, and then I'm told that I'm wrong. Well, I'm wrong and you're wrong. We're both wrong. So there we go. And I'm vaccinated and you're not. They were giving out $5,000 cash prizes, or Octopus on the credit card system thing here. They were giving it out, and I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to apply for that because I just won't be eligible. And then my neighbor, who's American, by the way, upstairs, he's leaving in November. He said, oh, you should apply for it. So he sent me the link and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, applied for it. Next day, rejected. I'm like, not going to get it. American culture does dominate the world. Just look at English language generally spoken in every country. Yes. We talked about this. Did we talk about this? No, we didn't talk about it. I talked about it to Penguin 6. President Macron from France, he put out an article, and it's on my Reddit save list. I might put it out on Twitter, or maybe I already did. But he was talking about how we should be aware of not to import values, issues from the United States and just copy and paste. So if there's a race issue, don't just copy and paste it and allow people to have this discussion that exists in America and transplant it to the French discussion of race, say, because it doesn't apply. It's a totally different race issue. Did you know, for example, that in France it's illegal for the government to make any kind of policy based on race? So if they need to look at a situation and they're given information about the racial makeup, they can't make any decisions based on that information they're receiving. They can't. They're not allowed. It's discrimination. So the government, by law, is not allowed to be racist. But I don't know enough about that in such a way that who's checking, and how do you know someone isn't going to make a racist policy if they say they haven't read it, or they have read it but they're not thinking about it, and then they make a decision, and someone could say, well, that's racist, that's illegal, and then they could say, but I'm not doing it for that reason, but they are. Like, I don't understand how it works, but anyway, it's in their law that you're not allowed to make racist policies, right? But he's right, though. The issue of race is different to in America. I remember, was it Noah, that left-wing talk show host, Trevor Noah, there we go. He said something like, well done Africa for winning the World Cup, but it was France that won the World Cup, or the European Cup, I can't remember. He said, well done Africa. And the black players from France were like, what the fuck, we're French. You can't think with that mindset, this homegrown mindset, and then apply it to other countries outside your own country. And that's what I'm talking about with everything. So obviously Trevor Noah got some kickback, literal kickback. Puns are allowed on my channel, I'll have you know. Excuse me. So you don't say that about what people are doing in France, and you can't just say, well done Africa. The patriotism is different, so different in France. Even in the UK, where we speak English, the issues are different, and you can't look at it. But part of it is sort of coalescing with the thought in America. We've got people in the UK who are on a pulpit talking about dangers of the vaccines, and I'm like, but we don't have that level of paranoia about vaccines in my country. Like, we're all vaccinated at birth. It's almost the default option. As soon as you're born, you're vaccinated. The government will do it. And now, supposedly, this vaccine is going to tag you, microchip you. And we're saying it in the UK. But why? Is it because these thought leaders in a certain unnamed country that I haven't already mentioned already, they're applying it, they're pushing that information over to the UK, and those people in the UK have got an excuse to complain about something against the government? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. What about the dangers of the virus? Well, yeah, no one thinks about the virus, huh? What has the virus ever done for us? Okay, anyway, the COVID situation here is, like I say, one case. That was 2 days ago, one case here. Everything's open. We're still going to do some social distancing, still have to do some temperature checks, still wear masks, but otherwise we just get on with everything. That's it. Swimming pools are at third capacity. So there's a big pool in Kennedy Town. It can accommodate 600 people, only allow 200. And if 2 people leave, then 2 people can go in. It's that kind of deal. The pool near me has a capacity of 120, so actually only 40 people are allowed in at the same time. That's kind of a bummer. Still waited at 7 o'clock in the morning now to get in, because all the old people are swimming their hearts out. 7 o'clock in the morning, it's like, who wants to get out of bed for that? Clearly the Hong Kong people do. So just, mate, I've got to go to work, let me have my morning swim. And when I got in, and then literally one old lady will come down the escalator, and it's like, right, one of you can go back up. Right, okay. And then when you get in the pool, here Delta is taking over because, we catch it at the border. The Delta is not here. We caught it at the border. And when you get in the pool, there's 5 people swimming. The other 35 people are old people. Not being ageist, they are old people. I was the youngest person there. And they're literally just going and singing. They're just standing in the pool singing like this. Why? Why are you doing this? Why am I waiting downstairs for 20 fucking minutes just so you can jump up and down, because there's a little bit of viscosity that might help you with your fucking calves. I don't know. And of course you're singing in the pool. I remember this old meme on the internet where, and this is basically applies to the West, but if you ever walk anywhere and you hear someone whistling and you turn around to look at who it is, it's always a guy. And it's true for the most part, but when you come to Hong Kong, it's not guys. It's not that sexist. The guys, when you go hiking, they've got the radios out and they've never heard of headphones, right? So you listen to this fucking Cantonese opera when you're hiking. That's bullshit. Hello, Kevin. But when you go to the park, okay, like the kiddies park, it's full of old ladies just stretching, right? So they're public nuisance number one in the kiddies park. And when you go to the pool, the men are staring at the ladies, not those ladies that I'm going to talk about, but the old ladies are then just doing the dancing. Stationary dancing. When I mean stationary, I just mean going up and down vertically, okay? Creating waves, literally. Sound waves and waves. I love Hong Kong. Having said all that, I fucking love this place. Honestly, it's so endearing to see what people do here. It's like, yeah. Anyway, Kevin, we were talking about you at the top of the episode, right? Oh, I'm applying for my permanent residency any day now, so I can stay here forever because I love this place. Okay. But my company is closing, and they are going to. I lose my personal assistant. No more personal assistant. You've known me since 2015. No more personal assistant. I can't say my PA anymore. I will become my own PA, which isn't as classy sounding. It's like, oh, Jonathan's got a PA. I know this guy in Hong Kong. Yeah, he's a half decent YouTuber, and no, he hasn't monetized his channel yet. Yeah, but he's got a PA. But next month he won't. It's like, oh, I won't sub him then. Amber Thunston. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. On cue. There's thunder, Kevin. There's fucking thunder on cue. That's how good you are. Come on. You should have been here at the beginning. I was extolling your virtues, and you just said thunderstorm. And it's doing it again. That makes me think, if you hadn't, what would have happened if you didn't say it? Okay, so the company's closing. I have to pay my own MPF, which is the mandatory provident fund, basically like a pension scheme. No, I don't have to. Typhoon 3 is like a warning. Gorlado, it'll be in the vicinity somewhere. I can't check. It could be 800 kilometers away. I don't know what that is in freedom units, but 800 kilometers away, we might have a typhoon. But for us, it'll be a T3 because it's affecting the wind. No, it doesn't affect my contract. Ends in February or January next year, so I'm fine, but I want to apply for it. But what the company is going to do is stay open for me, because I am the only person in the company apart from the CEO, because the company hasn't grown and it's actually shrank because of COVID and other things that happened in Hong Kong that we shall not name on this channel, but I think you know what I know. And my PA, let's say her wages is like 15,000 a month. Well, I bring in more than that, obviously, but they take 20%. So let's say I make 20,000. Well, 20% is 4,000. So the company is losing 11,000 a month to keep her. So my boss wants to close the company, but she's going to keep it open. I do my own PA work. With my 20%, I get that back, my commission, so my wages go up. But for the foreseeable future, for the next month or so, I will then pay my MPF. My employer will not pay it. So I pay my own, and then I pay what should be her contribution as my contribution, just so I'm not an overhead for her in the next couple of months. And that's how she's basically doing me a fucking solid, a really good solid. And my PA who's leaving said, I'll help you with your PR, the permanent residency application. It's like, great. They're so nice, so helpful. So that's happening. And today I'm working in a language center because of the virus. I'll actually tell you the full story because it's interesting and I've got time. Hong Kong has banned flights from the UK. So if you're in the UK now, you're not allowed to come to Hong Kong. The only way to get to Hong Kong is to leave the UK and spend 21 days somewhere else. but it will end at some point. Can you take over the business? I don't want to. No, because I'll become freelance with the PR. Anyway, I don't need. Then no one takes my commission. No one takes any commission off me, and I've got a 20% pay rise. Hello, I'll be jumping in the fucking swimming pool. Why are you here? Because I'm happy. Why are you here? Because I got 20% pay rise. And there's some teachers that are stuck in the UK that thought, oh, this will just be for a week. Don't worry about it. And they're stuck there now. So this language centre needs English teachers. And a friend of a friend who bought yogurt from me recommended me, and they learn at that particular school. So it turns out that one teacher stayed in the UK for longer than they thought they should have done, and they're stuck there now by default for 21 days. So they've got to get out of the country, find somewhere else. Another one went to Greece and is spending 21 days on a Greek island, which is pretty good. Also worth jumping in the water about on a Greek island. And he'll be here shortly. So I'm filling in, and I'm going to start teaching adults at this language centre. And they've given me like 5 hours straight away, which in their money, let me see here, is $35 an hour, which is actually lower than what I get where I work. Hello, KV. And I don't mind, and it'll be an experience to teach adults again. But these adults are from all over the world, Brazil, France. In fact, I'm going to teach today a French photojournalist who, where's the email? Give you this email. This is what I got as a sort of profile on him. Check this shit out. Here we go. I'm not going to say his real name, okay? But Francois is preparing to do a master's in journalism in Hong Kong, and he is concerned about his accuracy and range with regards to grammar and vocabulary. Francois also wants to work on his pronunciation. He prefers to use advanced level contemporary reading topics. I don't know what that means. Nevertheless, he seems resistant to cognitive training to recognize patterns in pronunciation, preferring instead to use his own system of transliteration to go through individual words and have the teacher repeat them out aloud with him. Freedom fries. Freedom fries. Freedom fries. He has also made a few racist comments, and it's up to the teacher to decide how they want to handle this. I chose not to engage, but this seemed to annoy him. He is also reluctant to answer questions about his work history or political views. He was also not prepared to answer questions about his daily routine and plans for the evening, etc. That I can understand. How are you doing? Fine. What are you going to do today? But I'm a photojournalist. I've trained as one. If he's training to be one, we don't need to talk about, the small talk things. See you tomorrow. If you need to print anything, we can set that up for you too. And then I just wrote a one-word reply to my new boss. Wild. I don't get it. You go to a fucking language school and you're resistant to the training techniques of the teachers. I've never met kids, yes, you understand kids because they're just... But an adult is like, listen, I'm not very good at English. Please tell me how to say these things in the way that I want you to tell me. So we're going to see what happens. But Paula, this is a new language. This is a new language school to me. I want to get my foot in the door and probably work for them part-time in case as I get older I receive fewer working opportunities with children, so that I can top up my salary working at this centre. And if it's really good, as they say it is, because the teachers have all been there, they've never left, it seems really easy. It's just conversational English. It's not even business English, and you don't even have to wear a tie. I have to wear trousers. I haven't worn trousers in over a year. So I got these out of the cupboard. I washed them, and I'll wear these today. But I hate those trousers. But I'm going to Patagonia tomorrow. I'm going to buy some Patagonia clothes. So that's today, anyway. And I'll let you know next month how that's going. Yeah? But hey ho. Right, the next thing I want to talk about. Attitudes. Okay. A little ironing. I haven't got an iron. Those are some mad creases. Look at that. That is terrible, isn't it? I don't have to. You don't iron them. You wear them solid. Okay. The exercise is going great, Paula. You're talking about the IG stuff where I'm doing 50 burpees a day thing. I've stopped posting it on my IG. I've already met him, Gallardo. He's too busy now. He's really busy. We were going to meet today with Steve James on the radio, but I said it's okay if you can't, and so I won't be meeting him again. So that's it, done. And it wasn't live streamed or video or anything like that. We just had lunch together. I just have to wear those creases out. Seriously, burpees. 50 burpees a day, Kevin. Okay, my abs. I've got more definition on my abs. Burpees work. Vaccines work. Alcohol works. Sleep also works. My sleep at the moment. Anyway, I'm not talking about sleep. What would you like to listen to? Which story first? Would you like to listen to the female bodybuilder story, or someone huffing and puffing behind me in line? Yeah. Which one would you like? For me, both of them are a little bit of culture shock. Huffing and puffing in line. Okay, so I don't normally go to the western parts of Hong Kong, and I regularly wait in a supermarket. You're getting both stories anyway, so you're gonna have to wait, Brian. So like my local supermarket has a huge long fucking line that snakes around the frozen food section. Okay, doesn't matter how many ladies have got on, it always snakes around. So I actually lose phone signal. So it's like going back into the 90s where you're just like, where you're just waiting with you fucking twiddling your thumbs, right? It's that kind. Just turn off your phone and you'll know what I'm talking about. So I'm waiting in line like it's the 1990s. Luckily I've got music, so let's pretend I've got a Walkman, okay? Really trying to immerse myself into this idea that I'm in the 90s. There with my shopping basket. And it takes like 10, 15 minutes maybe to get to the front. I don't care, right? And then I went to this bookshop that I don't normally go to. And it's inside a place called Prince Edward House. It's in Central. And I'll tell you how privileged people are. You can walk around this set of malls. There's like 5 of them in these 5 buildings. They're all interconnected with these walkovers over the road. And it's connected to the MTR. So if you're working there, and these are high-rise office buildings, if you're working there, you never have to go outside because everything is inside for you. You're literally insulated from the outside world in this place. And this bookstore is in one of these buildings. And I had to go there because these 2 books weren't available at this shop, so you have to go to the main shop. And I'm like, right, okay. So I'm walking around trying to figure it out, and I'm like, fucking hell, I've never seen this shop before, never seen that shop. It's all high-end Western goods that, you know, rich financial folks might want to buy. Go inside this bookstore, and I check behind me. There's no one there. There's no one in the queue. I get to the front, and they've got this level 3 book. I'm like, oh, I don't think that's the right book. And I'm just flicking through it, just double checking. And this prick, this English prick behind me goes, I turn around, I pull a dirty, and I should have said, go fuck yourself. Like, I just checked, there was nobody there. And he's got some chocolate in his hand. And this is some rich, old, financial fuckhead, okay? And he can't wait. There's another till there that could possibly be used, but I'm just casually checking because I checked. There was nobody behind me, and I just wanted to double check this book. And I just stare at him. And in my mind, I'm just going through the argument. I'm going through me berating him, and I just thought, just swear at him. Just say, go fuck yourself, you impatient piece of shit. Just couldn't believe it. Because normally I'm in a queue with Chinese people, and they just stand there, and they're just waiting. No one huffs and puffs. We just get on with it. The first time I jump in the queue of other white people, and they're huffing and puffing, I'm like, go fuck yourself. I rehearsed it in my head, what I wanted to say to him. It's one of those moments where you walk out and you think, I should have just done more than just giving him an evil stare. I should have made a scene and said, go fuck yourself. But I wasn't annoyed by it. I just saw him, and I just thought, how fucking privileged is he? I've just explained the lay of the land literally to you. How privileged is he? And yet everyone else has to wait at the market, has to fight for their place in the market, or wait in the supermarket, and this dick. Or people waiting outside in restaurants because the capacity was shortened. People want takeaway. You got to wait outside in the weather, the hot weather, and people just do with their tickets. And the first queue I'm in with another white person, okay, an English person, just huffs his way to the front. And I didn't. Then that's the culture shock. I just remembered. I'm in the wrong place. But there we are. Anyway, I'm glad you picked the female bodybuilder story second. So, speaking of having to wait and get in line because of the COVID stuff, huge line at the Kennedy Town. I'm name dropping for Kevin. Kennedy Town swimming pool. Huge fucking line. 30 minutes to get in, right? And he had a business suit. Did you let him go first? No. I hurried up what I was doing. I basically said to myself, okay, I'll look at the book over here, but can I have level 2? And I did it out of the way. Which you could say I should have done. But I did check behind me. I don't know why, but for the first time, I checked. Oh, I've got another story for you about queuing. Okay, remind me. This one's funnier, so I'll end it on a funnier note. So, I'm at the swimming pool, waited 30 minutes to get in. The fucking thing, the queue is snaking, all that shit. Okay, typical Hong Kong queues at the moment. Get in, start swimming. And as I'm preparing to leave, I see this beautiful Chinese woman, okay? And she is built like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter, okay? Beautiful. You know how rare to see a woman like that is? And she's got breast implants, which are done in a very respectable manner. And she's got abs. I'm like, holy shit. This woman is beautiful. And she was with her little daughter. And then, prior to seeing her, I saw these big weightlifter Chinese dudes as well, who were also very healthy looking, very nice. Okay, so it's not just a woman thing. I just appreciate a nice athletic body. But hers, like I say, like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter, and then does part-time in the Mardi Gras. Like, all the curves everywhere, which you never find on an Asian woman in this way. And I heard her say something like, oh, but Daddy's coming. And I thought, holy fuck, what does Daddy look like? He must be like Arnold Schwarzenegger times 2, because he's just got to. Like, look, if you saw this woman, oh my God. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna wait. No homo, but I'm gonna wait for this guy. So me, pasty white fuck, I'm like waiting, and then I see this this little kid with this really tall white guy, and he goes up to her, and I thought, that's the husband. I was in shock, not because he was taller than Arnold Schwarzenegger and wider than Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's because it looked like he made no fucking effort ever in his life in terms of physical exercise. I couldn't believe it. I was like, and she's had 2 kids, and she's got a washboard stomach. And then my mind got thinking about the double standards and expectations placed on men and women, where she works out to such a degree that you think you're in fucking Brazil for 20 seconds. And then there's him, who probably looks really good in a suit, but I shit you not, I am more toned than he was. He was taller. That was it. That was his only thing, I guess, a woman would, like, you know, immediately. Women always like, got to be 6'9", right? He was tall, but that was it. And I just thought, that is so unfair to her that she looks like that. Unless she is a bodybuilder by profession, then that's different. But he looks like some financial whiz who doesn't have to, because he's rich. He doesn't have to work out. And he's got 2 beautiful kids. God bless him. Not that I believe in God, but quad bless him. And then his wife is also drop dead gorgeous. And he just doesn't make any effort. But then if you've got a wife and kid and you've got a high paying job, why should you make an effort? I guess in that sense, I don't know. But I just thought, wow, the effort that she has to put in to look that good. Because you can't have a lot of surgery to remove any belly fat. She's worked on those abs. Just couldn't believe it. But there we are. Right. The last story, I guess. For those coming in late, I was saying at the beginning of the live stream that I've been really busy with work. School's out for summer, so I've got extra classes. I've got a new student who has 4 hours a week now. It's a crazy amount. So my schedule's all broken up, and I'm trying to finish off this podcast for the Star Trek podcast series that I do. She's fine. I'm going to say she's fine. There's some things that happened just little things, nothing to worry about. But I can't share them, nor should I share them. And it sounds more serious than what it is, but it isn't. It's just not something casual that I should just say, oh, she's fine. Okay, she's fine. And she said no at work to somebody. I'm very proud of her. She said no to some extra work. Normally she doesn't say no, but otherwise she's good. This last story is, I'll tell you now, my mistake, okay? But it's so funny. I hope you understand it. Now, I need some props. I need some props for this. Because some of you, I don't know, there's 11 of you here, but I don't know if any of you haven't met me before or don't know anything about Hong Kong. But I need to explain. This is an Octopus card. And you can top this up with money, and then you could pay for things and ride on the public transport. But you can't go into arrears. Well, you can one time, but then you've got to top it up again. And you've already paid for that arrears. So it's not like you can swindle the company and say, haha, I got some free money. You didn't. Because when you top it up, when you activate it, it's like $150, and then you only get $100 credit and $50 in reserve, which you can use once. But you can't go over $50 either. So maybe 49.9 on a weird MTR journey, yes. But then anyway, you haven't lost anything. So this is something that my housemate found, and I've just kept it in my pocket. This is one of them. I have a digital version on my phone, and I use it on this phone to buy milk. Okay? Yeah, this is a queue story, kind of. I was in the queue, so I have one on this phone to buy milk for my yogurt side business. And I have another one on my keys to buy my groceries, and I have one on this phone for the MTR transport. So I have 4 of them, but I only use 3. I don't use this. It's just in my pocket, and I never took it out. Someone gave it to me. Housemate gave it to me. I put it in my pocket, didn't think about it. So I go to the shop. When you buy things, you can top it up at the counter. And I gave the lady 500 Hong Kong dollars. What is 500 Hong Kong dollars, you ask? 64 US dollars. So I put it on the card, and I want to buy the milk with my phone. So she puts it on there, then you just tap it and it activates it. So I tap it, I notice on the computer minus 500, it's done it, and then she's got the receipt, so there's proof. Then we pay for the items, go to pay for the items, and I tap my phone, and there's no credit on this phone. And I'm like, huh? And she also, by the way, she can't speak English, but she's also like, well, that's weird. Where did the credit go? And we're both cognizant of what just happened, and I was in the moment that time, so I know I got topped up, and she knows she got topped up. So we try again. Doesn't work. Try on my other phone, which is this phone. Maybe it landed on there, but it didn't, because the receptor is here, my bag is here, and I purposely turned my honed, chiseled, flat stomach away, okay, so it wouldn't activate it because of the RFID chip, whatever. And I used my keys, which is what I wanted to do, and I put it on there. So I try with both phones and the keys. No money. And she's so confused, poor lady. Where's it gone? So she starts printing off the receipts. We have to go into the phone, and by this point, there is a queue. She closes the barrier. I step over it. No one else can go here now. So I've shut down one of the tills. And now we're 10, 15 minutes into this, trying to figure it out. Time is going quickly. And so we have to go through the settings, check out the numbers on the Octopus card, which you can do on both phones, and then she has to ring the MTR Corporation, and she's like, the numbers don't match. We topped it up by $500. Then she gets a manager, and the manager can speak English, and she's saying basically the same thing that this woman has managed to communicate to me, but in English. And I'm like, look, the numbers are different. I don't know what's going on here. And then 40 minutes later, the English speaker says, have you got any more Octopus cards? And for some reason, I then realize I've got this one, okay? I've wasted 40 minutes of my fucking life. This one is in my pocket. But I said to you, I swiveled away to keep my bag away. But this was nowhere near the fucking tap thing. And the $500 landed on this one. So I pull it out, and she's like, ah. So she snatches it off me, pays for the fucking milk, okay? And now I told her through the translation device and through the manager, listen, I'm not upset. I don't want her to be upset. I can see she's getting upset, unsettled. Just tell her that I'm okay, and I'll be as patient and as helpful as possible, okay? Because it's probably my mistake. So I pull it out, and she just snatches it and pays for it, and she's like, aha! She says she congratulates herself in Chinese, and I'm like, oh, fuck! 40 minutes of my life down the toilet. But then I think to myself, as I'm leaving, what is she going to say to her husband when she gets home? When he asks, so how was your day today, love? And she's going to say, you know what? Today, this fucking Guilo came into the supermarket, and for some fucking reason, he had 4 fucking Octopus cards on him. Why has he got 4 fucking Octopus cards? She'll never know because she doesn't speak English and I can't speak Chinese. They could have told you to contact Octopus yourself. What do you mean? No, I don't want to, Paula. I want 3 Octopus cards. This one is just an accident that I just keep in my fucking pocket. Oh man, talk about what is the word? I don't know what it is. Serendipity comes to mind, but it's not serendipity. But the fact that she has to go home and says, well, I was delayed 40 minutes. Technically, I got a 40-minute break because of this fucking white prick with his 4 Octopus cards. Why has he got 4 Octopus cards? It is cool, but she had to check her till. So she also had to, I forgot to mention that, but before contacting the MTR, she had to do a till check and make sure that she didn't fuck up, because that's $500 that she could be liable for if it went somewhere, and it could have been some weird bug in the system, right? I'm the bug in the system. Poor lady. The fact that she doesn't speak Chinese, and she's arguing over to the other lady in the till, incredulous at what's happened, and I can tell by the context. But he tapped it. The $500 should have gone on that card. What do you think has happened? And then she shouts back over, try this, try that, and they're still serving people in Hong Kong. People in the shops, the assistants, they shout. They don't give a fuck. Okay, and it's like, holy shit. If you walk into a high-end supermarket, they don't do that stuff. In the local ones, they shout. Yeah, but then they owe me $65. Maybe they don't get it for a while. It went to the Matrix. It nearly did. But somehow it just touched. This one got it. She was so relieved. And I was so annoyed because it was past my bedtime. Because the shop closes at like 11. And I went there just before 10. And then it's 20 to 11. I'm like, fuck, I want to go to bed. But there we are. I've been saving those 3 stories for you since last month. You need a sleeve. Hello, Stephen. I shouldn't have put it in my pocket, but there was some credit on it, and then there was 65 fucking US dollars worth of credit. Thank you, Paula. Somehow I'll collect some more for you for next month, I guess. I'm going to wrap it up here because I've got a client in 1 hour who only lives around the corner. That's true. On this phone, I only purchase milk with it because I'm trying to keep track of my finances. You can keep 10 Octopus cards on here. I don't know how, but you can digitize 10 of them on here. But because I buy milk and sell yogurt, I'm trying to keep my finances separate, right? That's why I've got that one, then one for transport, and then one for groceries. Because eventually, you get a bag of metal that you don't really want to use, and then I'm trying to minimize this. Yeah, so remember, yellow milk, yellow phone, but this phone has a yellow case because I'm an idiot, but I don't get them confused. Okay, I've got a video that I'm editing for the gardening video, which will come out in the first week of next month. Thank you, Stephen. I'm going to try and do 1 video a month about the gardening, if you haven't already guessed. Not to overload the channel, because some people don't like to watch it, but then those videos actually get a lot of feedback and engagement, and I like doing that. My neighbor who owns the garden is leaving in November, so we've got August, September, October, and then a November episode. We've got 4 left, and then somehow I'm gonna have to create an indoor garden here, which I'm going to try and do. I've got some new shelvings here. You can see I've got loads of plants, but I can fit all my strawberries on here. And if you've seen the kiwi and the blueberry, I might try and put them here, and then have a red light grow room during the day, and when I come home at night, it's my fucking turn to use the bedroom. Okay, because when he leaves, I don't get dibs on that space, and I don't think the landlord cares about me, even if I pay him like a token gesture, X amount so much. So everything will have to be transferred here. I've still got a hiking video to do, and I want to get out and do some live streams, but the rain and the sunshine has been so atrocious this year, and obviously with all the other things, I haven't been out. Just haven't been out. It's as simple as that. I don't want to go out, just sweating, or it's raining, so it's just bullshit at the moment. So that's why I'm focusing on the Star Trek podcast. Okay. So anyway, that's what's happening to the channel. But at least I can do this once a month, the gardening once a month, and there is still stuff coming on the channel that nobody wants to watch. But there we are. Hey, I didn't even talk about the Olympics, did we? No, we didn't. I don't care about the Olympics. No worries. Thank you for turning up. I'm surprised there's 12 of you here. I don't know why there's 12 of you here. I told you not to watch me live. You've got to watch me on the replay, so then the watch stats go up, and then I get monetized again. But thank you for turning up and watching me live. Okay? I watch your gardening. Thank you very much. All the tomatoes are practically dead, but the strawberries, they are survivors. And yeah, the pumpkin is going crazy, but you'll see it. You'll see it anyway. We do both. You mean you're going to watch the replay? I hate it when people watch my YouTubes in front of me. Like, oh my God, did I say that? It's worse when people in Hong Kong are like, hey, this is your YouTube. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, I want to see this video. No, fuck. Tomatoes are easy. Tomatoes are the pickiest fucking plants ever. They're atrocious. But, Paula, the rain here is very contrasty. It's either full-on sunshine or it's raining. Sunshine, raining, or it just sunshines for a week, then it's raining for 2 weeks, full-on. That's it. There's no mild weather, hardly. No, I'm not on Haps. No time. Seriously, Gallardo. People have asked. I have considered it. Thank you. I have considered it. Part of me wants to. Even just to say, even to do something casual, like walk to the MTR and say, hey, I'm in Hong Kong. Part of me wants to do that. But I'm also resisting the urge because when I get, and plus I can handhold it. It's less formal, right? If you've noticed, the YouTubes are with the gimbal, so I can't go inside so much because I'm more noticeable. So part of me misses that because I can be a little bit more surreptitious. Part of me wants that, honestly. But at the moment, I'm editing a podcast for Zora. So I use my time on the MTR to make money. So it's a big incentive to do that with her on the MTR, because I've got another iPad just for Zora and editing her podcast. Otherwise, I'm reading a book. Okay, that's interesting. But I like the gimbal. I don't want the whole shaky, and then some person on the comments is like, camera's shaky, didn't watch. I literally had someone on Podbean tell me that they couldn't download my podcast, but all they said was, doesn't work. So I went through the process of signing up for Podbean, and then I thought, fuck it. One person can't download it on Podbean. You should be using Podbean then, should you? Because it works on all the other platforms. Just weird feedback that I just don't need. I just don't have time for it. And I miss live streaming like this, right? But I can't. I just don't have the time. But I want to have the time. Who knows? Maybe when I've lost some clients, I'll go back to it. But I want to devote all my resources to YouTube as much as I can. Okay, just to get the channel over, and then it's done. I don't have to worry about it so much. Got to get those 950 hours. I'll see you all later next month. You can tell I'm busy. It's like the 30th of July. Like, I nearly didn't do a latch chat. Okay? Right. Thank you for turning up. I would do a podcast with Adam, talk about movies and shit, but I haven't had time. If anyone's interested, there's this really cool German movie that I watched. I'll leave you with this recommendation. But it's half English, half German. Say hello to Francois. Yeah. The easiest thing to do is probably talk about my website with him, talk about my history with journalism. Where's that movie? I just chose it, and it was awesome. Blood Red Sky, it's called. It's about these hijackers who take this plane, but then it becomes something else, but it's half English, half German. But there's not enough German where you think fucking subtitles or fucking foreign movies. Gash, not watching that. Blood Red, and it's a Netflix movie. It's really good. There's a couple of, the guy from Prison Break, the older one, not the one who breaks into prison, but the older one, the one that he wants to rescue or some shit. He's in it. He's probably the biggest actor in it. And then there's some British guy at the airport who you might have seen elsewhere, but otherwise it's an amazing movie. I don't want to spoil it, but it's about these hijackers who take this plane, and this woman with leukemia. The trouble is the fucking picture ruins it, so try not to look at the picture. This woman with leukemia is also a part of it. Anyway, I've said enough. Blood Red Sky. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.